Going on, guys? As I believe I mentioned in the update, if any of you saw it, I wanted to look into making my own stencils so that I don't have to not only pay quite a bit of extra money for somebody else to do it, but also, the lead time and waiting around if I need one. It kind of eliminates that, and it gives me a little bit more freedom in trying different sizes, different stencils. If I want to put something specific, serial number, prototype, what have you on there, I can make things kind of at will. And it seemed like not only a more cost-effective idea, hopefully, but just something that'll give me a little bit more freedom as well as versatility there. So been doing a little bit of research, and it seems like a pretty straightforward process, depending on what you get. But typically, I believe the process is just getting some resistive film or photoresist film that you develop using, kind of your transparency with your negative stencil on it, that'll block the light from developing on a certain part of the photo film. And then you just stick it in a UV box or even just out in the sunlight and, let the light pass through it, develop it, and then get to using it. And I'm sure it could be maybe a little bit more complicated than the way I just explained it, but really, it's something probably anybody can do. And truth be told, I'm probably overcomplicating this whole light box thing. Really, you probably just need either sunlight or a UV flashlight or something in a dark room. But I don't really like doing things halfway. I like to have a little bit more control over things and kind of rule out some variables where I can. So I decided to go maybe a little bit more of the semi-professional route and make my own light box. And I actually looked into buying them, and they're just absolutely outrageous for what they basically are. They're just a case with a UV light in it, more or less, maybe a switch or a timer, I don't know. But you're looking at well over $100 to I think almost a couple grand was maybe the most expensive one I saw. Granted, that'll be a large size for professionally developing photos and stuff. But you can make your own for just a few dollars. I think I paid maybe $20 for a 300 LED light strip, which I don't remember if I really showed in the video. This has about 300 UV LEDs on it. And you can actually cut sections off of this. So if anybody needs some, I may have a little bit to sell you. As I probably won't use nearly a fraction of that. There's about 16 feet or 300 LEDs worth of lights there. And I'll probably only use maybe a couple dozen at the most. So we'll kind of see how it fits in there. But I think it was about $20 for that, maybe $8 or $9 for the MDF, $5 or $6 for the latches and the hinges, and then I already had a power adapter lying around that I can use for this. And then I bought a piece of glass, which actually came out of a less than $2 photo frame at Walmart. So, what's that add up to? Less than 50 bucks, you can build your own. And if you got scrap wood laying around and some hardware, you can do it even cheaper than that. And, I'm sure there's even probably cheaper lights than the 20 bucks I spent on that. And again, I'm not even going to use hardly a fraction of them. But at any rate, just kind of threw something quick and dirty together. Thought about painting it, but actually wanted to make a little gasket out of duct tape or something. I didn't have any weather stripping laying around. So I thought maybe I could make a little duct tape gasket to help kind of seal things, as for some odd reason it didn't turn out quite as flat and square as I thought it would. It was close, but I think my saw blade was tilted a little bit. I cut everything with a circular saw and kind of rushed through it. So figured we could maybe fill in the gaps with a little bit of duct tape, and it actually turned out not looking too terribly bad, and should be pretty durable to boot. So just a simple box here, a couple latches on the front. Probably could have got away with even using just one, but since there were two there, and I don't see myself using that for anything else anytime soon, I put two of them on, a couple hinges in the back, and then you can see the inside. It's really just a larger box with a recessed inner box to have a lip for the glass to rest on, and then just a piece of hardboard in the bottom screwed up there that the lights are going to mount to, and they're self-adhesive, so they should hopefully stick down pretty nice in there. And I can run a cable out the bottom, and I got a timed outlet that I bought that I'll just plug that into the wall, plug the power adapter into it, set a time for 2-3 minutes, whatever it may take, and then that'll kind of rule out any possibility of me maybe overexposing things, hopefully. And here's a piece of glass from the photo frame, picture frame, fits in there nicely. And I actually left enough that I got a second piece of glass I could stick over the top to kind of weigh everything down and keep everything nice and flat. Or I figure maybe it might be better just to cut a little piece of 060, 080 Kydex, sandwich it down there, and then close it. And that'll kind of keep any stray light from getting in, or I don't know, probably not even necessary, but it should work pretty well for how I need it to. So that's that. I'll make another video when it's all together, maybe doing a little bit of experimenting. The etch film, or the photoresist film that I got, is actually for PCB boards, and I may have mentioned this in the update, but I'm not sure if that'll work for knives, as that's usually ironed on or laminated onto printed circuit board material or copper clad boards, and then developed. So I'm not sure if developing that actually completely removes the inside material that the light hasn't hit or has hit, or however that works, or if it does leave a little bit of a mesh or a screen behind so that your inner shapes and figures don't fall out on you. So I guess we'll find out pretty quick. I'm actually going to look into making my own developer as well. I saw where some guys were developing with sodium carbonate, which is not to be confused with baking soda or sodium bicarbonate, but you can actually make it from that just by cooking the moisture out of it. It creates a reaction with the carbon dioxide and blah blah blah. You can make your own on the stove in just a few minutes. So I'll try that out. I think you just add a little bit of water after that, and that's your alkali solution or what have you for developing. And if that doesn't work, developer's cheap, I'll just buy some, but kind of trying some experiments here on a homebrew solution to see maybe how cheaply I can do this, and then hopefully I can pass that on to you guys who might be interested in saving a little bit of money and having a little bit more control over things yourself. So this is step one, coming along pretty nicely, I think. And if all else fails and this blows up in my face, I'll just pull the lights out, and I guess I got a humidor for my cigars now, right? So that's it, guys. Went on a little bit longer than I probably needed to, but stay tuned. I'll post a follow-up video when this is all together, maybe by tomorrow night if possible. And then maybe we can even do a little bit of experimenting and see if I can make a stencil or not. So we'll see you on the next one, guys. Thanks for watching.